League of Legends has been around for so dang long that you'd think every single mechanic had been discovered by now. Yet deep inside Riot's spaghetti code, there are still interactions, mechanics, and combos so weird, so niche, and so broken that even veteran players won't believe they exist. Like the fact you can literally extend the range of blast cones, letting you fly over walls that are normally impossible to cross. All it takes is Trundle or Anivia placing their pillar or wall exactly where the blast cone would normally throw you, indicated by this red circle, and because the game can't find a legal spot for you to land, it panic yeets you over the wall, giving you insane extra range. But Anivia doesn't even need a blast cone to go over walls. I mean, she's kind of technically a flying bird, right? As by placing your wall to block off your path in certain spots around Summoner's Rift, you can trick the game into, well, just allowing you to straight fly right through them. And you can even use this to get into Dragon or Baron pits. And since we are talking about going over walls, here are some filthy Rengar tech for mid lane ganks. Rengar mains will already know ganking mid without ult is normally going to be impossible. But using the double jump mechanic we've covered before on this channel, you can set up disgusting mid ganks from angles nobody expects. All you do is sit in this bush on red side or this one on blue, leap to the blast cone, and spam Q on your target mid-air. This triggers a second jump, allowing you to pounce into mid and set up dives from an angle that they would never see coming. And now, if you've enjoyed these couple of mechanics so far, you are going to love our Master in Minutes mechanics course. It teaches the actual micro skills that challenger and pro level players rely on every single game they play. These are the mechanics that directly translate into more kills, better laning, faster climbing. Because let's be honest, most content on YouTube today is built to satisfy the algorithm and the algorithm alone, not to actually make you better, which makes it kind of hard to know what's actually useful. That's why it's skill capped. We do the work for you, finding the strongest S-tier picks, S-tier builds, S-tier strategies before anybody else does, while teaching you exactly how to use those things through our commentary page. Then, to build you into a complete player, you're going to get access to our fundamentals library, featuring courses from highly respected coaches like Rogue, like Chippies, teaching you everything you need to focus on in your rank. And once you have built all of those fundamentals, you are going to see how it all comes together in our Bronze to Diamond series, where real players just like you use these same lessons to rank up fast, step by step, game by game, giving you the complete blueprint you need to climb. So check it all out on the link in the description below to gain access to a special one-time discount right now. But something else you are never going to see coming is this, as Gragas has a secret tech that turns his barrel into a literal invisible landmine. Normally when Gragas throws his Q, everybody can see the obvious circle on the ground. But if Gragas tosses his barrel so that it lands inside of a wall, the indicator just, well, it vanishes for your opponent. This not only allows you to catch unsuspecting opponents by surprise, but also lets you set up the most ridiculous invisible bombas. Fiora is another champion absolutely stacked with hidden mechanics, and most of you already know the Vital basics. Vitals spawn on one of two sides at a time, either northeast or southwest, alternating after every proc, with the first Vital of the game always spawning southwest. If you're on blue side, that's free real estate at level 1, but on a red side, good luck proccing it. So Fiora mains on a red side will scout for their opponent, get the Vital to spawn, then dip into fog to reset it, guaranteeing the next one appears on the good side for the start of lane. But that's barely even scraping the surface here, because Fiora's kit has even more hidden interactions that almost nobody is using. First, Fiora can use Vitals as a built-in sweeper. If you sit in a bush and no Vital spawns, the enemy does not have vision. But if a Vital suddenly appears while you're in that bush, yep, it's warded. Second, most players think they know the riposte tech, where you riposte mid-lunge to stun enemies with abilities like Poppy W, Jinx and Caitlyn traps, or even Veigar Cage. But that's just the entry-level stuff here. Here's what only Fiora one-tricks know. You can actually auto-attack during riposte by spam-clicking your target. This enables you to hit a target with Q, W auto, and then instantly E after the reset after, which all gives you a shockingly high burst combo while being completely immune. And this same mechanic allows for some of the cleanest escapes you are ever going to see by hitting blast cones mid-W. But here's where it all gets mind-blowing, because once you master this, it unlocks a way to break Fiora's ultimate. There's a sweet spot in between two Vitals where with just a single dash, you can proc them both. And if you chain that with the riposte slide auto buffer, you get one of the craziest burst sequences in the entire game, allowing you to proc your ult faster than ever while being immune the entire time. But while Fiora is packed with all kinds of hidden tech, it is nothing compared to what Nico can do. Unless you've been living under a rock, you already have seen numerous clips on the internet of Nico turning into a cannon minion, tanking turret shots for eternity, and setting up the easiest dives of her team's life. Well, let's be honest here. That is never happening in your silver games. It sucks. So here's the part you can actually abuse. When Nico transforms into a minion, she's technically no longer a champion, and that breaks a ton of rules, and even champion abilities as well. Against a tough poke lane, shift into a minion right as you're about to be hit by a spell, and their Comet, Scorch, or even Airy won't even proc. But it's against targeted abilities where this gets downright illegal, because by instantly shifting into a minion, Nico can straight up dodge, straight up immune abilities that normally ignore minions entirely. Leona sprinting at you, dodge your E by becoming a minion. Caitlyn traps in the bush, whatever, just walk right through them. That ulting sign about to crash right India, that's somebody else's problem. Jinx rocket about to snipe you from downtown, not today. The trick to make this reliable is to head into the game settings and then under hotkeys find quote champion specific interaction 6. By default, this is going to be Shift plus F6, so we suggest binding this to something more comfortable and getting used to it. And while you're there, there's a setting 99% of players turn off, completely unaware that one-tricks are abusing it to nearly double their damage on champions like Kalista and Zeri. Every ADC main knows how on Lucian you can shorten the distance of your dash to get out even more damage. But on Zeri, her dash, unless you're going over a wall, is always a set distance, which absolutely sucks for bursting targets, as you want to use it, but you're going to be locked into the animation after doing so. But by turning back on auto attack in the settings, you unlock the secret tech of being able to completely cancel her dash. Then to do it, just auto attack Q, E, Q, and just look at the difference here. You can then even include R for her max damage combo by doing auto Q, E, R, Q, which with auto attack off isn't even possible. And honestly, that's just Zeri, because on Kalista, every one-trick knows this setting is somehow even more broken, because once you get items on Kalista, using attack move to kite actually guts your DPS by a stupid amount. This is all because your dash animation from Martial Poise is slower than her attack animation, which you can see immediately compared to when we stand still. But again, by simply putting on auto attack in the settings, you can suddenly flawlessly hop at high attack speeds by just clicking on your target, as now Kalista auto-fires without you having to issue attack commands, freeing you to focus on only inputting movement commands, which is going to give you, let's be honest, god-tier kiting and twice the DPS with just one setting. And since we are on the topic of ADCs, Jinx has an insane mechanic that hides her ultimate, and hardly anybody knows about this. Usually when you cast Jinx ultimate, there's a very obvious animation making it very easy to dodge. However, if you cast your traps first, then immediately ult, the animation is practically invisible. There's one catch to this though. You have to be standing still for this to work. But this is where things get ridiculous, as you can combine it with another lesser known trick. If you press R and then flash, the rocket will come from your original location. This means if you're in a close fight and you need your ultimate to win, you can hit S, put down your traps, hit ultimate, and then flash, getting away from your opponent while your ultimate appears from thin air, making it impossible for them to dodge. And as a bonus, Jinx's W max range is the precise threshold for her ultimate's max damage for the distance traveled. So if a target is beyond your W range, you know you are guaranteed a max damage rocket based on the distance traveled. And sure, I get it if you're on the side of flashing during spell animations isn't anything mind-blowing. By this point, we've all seen the flashy, pun intended, montage plays like Lux R Flash, Ezreal R Flash, Seraphine R Flash, Caitlyn's EQ Flash, and countless others. But without a doubt, the most disgustingly effective use of this mechanic really belongs to none other than Cassiopeia, as you can completely fake the visual direction of your ultimate by doing this. A lot of the OP tricks and mechanics in League are ones that fake or hide the animation of spells. Most players play on autopilot, having the animation of threatening spells memorized in their head. But when that visual changes, it takes a moment for them to register it. But by that point, it's already too late. And Renata can abuse this, turning one of her most telegraphed ultimates into something you can practically guarantee will land. Simply cast Q backwards, then move your mouse to the direction you want to ult. This is going to make Renata look backwards while channeling her ult, but send it in the right direction, which you can then even pair alongside your flash to make this completely undodgeable. And speaking of undodgeable ultimates, this next tech is exactly that, because one of the most broken duos in the entire game can can turn one of League's hardest ults to land into a 100% guaranteed hit every single time. When you're playing Xerath with a Kayn on your team, there's a cheeky trick that you can abuse using the F keys. So, as soon as Kayn dives inside a target with his R, hold down his corresponding F key, center your cursor, and shoot your ultimate. You will land every single shot with zero counterplay. Which, while we're on the topic of unique duos, these next interactions are straight up game-breaking and turn Tahm Kench into the most broken support you have ever seen. Tahm can literally scoop up champions like Lucian and Samira during their ultimates to completely prevent them from getting stopped. And that is just the appetizer. Because Tahm can do something so stupidly broken, it really feels like a bug that Riot just completely missed, as he can even supercharge ultimates like Misfortune's and Vel'Koz's by eating them the exact moment they start channeling. Not only does this make their ult impossible to cancel, Tahm gets to walk around while repositioning the entire ultimate like a portable death laser. Now, the timing on this is insanely tight. It's difficult. Mess it up, and you're gonna hard grief your team. Too early, you waste the ult. Too late, the game prevents you. But here's the one trick that makes it consistent every single time. Have your ally press B to start the recall animation, then instantly cancel it with their ultimate. Then, as Tahm, the moment you see that recall animation appear, eat them. And the River King even has a few hidden mechanics of his own as well. First off, Tahm's Q range actually scales with his size, meaning with items like Heartsteel or even certain traits in Arena, Tahm can lick his opponents from across the map. And that sets up his next trick perfectly, because Tahm can eat enemies from range, and hardly anyone knows this one. If a target has 3 stacks of your passive, you can Q, instantly press R, and slurp them up from a distance. Katarina can jump over walls using her W plus E, and it works on almost every small to medium wall in the game, even Dragon and Baron Pit walls. All you do is move up to the wall you want to jump over, press your W, and then Shunpo to the other side. And there are 2 ways to pull this off. You can hit W, then immediately E, which is going to dash you over the wall before the dagger even appears, making it super quick and great for escapes. But you don't get the Shunpo reset since the dagger hasn't landed yet. Then the other variation, where you W, wait for the dagger to appear, then E. It's slightly slower, but you do get the cooldown refund on your Shunpo, which could be the difference maker. And lastly, while every Katarina main undoubtedly knows this one vital mechanic is that your E is actually an auto attack reset. This means if you get in a situation where you have 2 daggers next to each other, you can auto, E, auto for a triple auto attack. And while we're on the topic of champions that can go over walls, Shaco can do the exact same with his ultimate. Simply position yourself next to the wall you want to go over, press R, and then spam click on the other side. This is great for stealing objectives, as you can ultimate over, then Q back to safety. And if you ever need vision of an objective, Zoe has one of the most slept-on scouting tools in the game. As only Zoe mains know, her ultimate actually grants vision over walls, even if she doesn't cross them herself. This is huge, because you can check Dragon or any fogged areas without ever putting yourself at risk. And on top of that, makes landing that sleepy trouble bubble ridiculously free, as even if your opponents think they're safe and hiding out of vision, Zoe, like she's just called in a UAV from COD, can scan the area, line up her E, and absolutely delete them, all without ever being seen. Now, we have just uncovered some of the craziest hidden mechanics and spaghetti code in League. But some of the most shocking tricks, they aren't buried. They're sitting right in front of us, and almost nobody realizes it. Riot put these in the game on purpose, and we still miss them. Let us know in the comments how many of these you didn't know so far. Like how on Camille, even if you have no vision of your opponents, your E's visual indicator is going to tell you exactly where they are. Or how on Yone, when your E snapback damage is enough to execute the player, it's going to turn from red to black. Exactly the same thing for Zed. When the player gets low enough to the point your ultimate's going to kill them, a shuriken's going to appear above their model. Same with Mel. The icon above the target's champion model is going to change color and even glow when you have enough passive stacks for your ultimate to be lethal. But that all aside, let's get back to the good stuff here, the meat. Like how every Smolder is using their ultimate wrong, making it way too slow in close encounters, leading to missed kills and avoidable deaths. The problem with Smolder is that it just takes way too long to get his mom to arrive, as when you cast his ult, not only is it super telegraphed, but due to the travel time, often means she's going to arrive with the heal way too late, which is why Smolder mains know. In close fights, the tech is to cast his ult backwards, meaning the initial damage and heal immediately hits. So in our last combo video, we showed off some of the insane things you can do on Gangplank, but here's one mechanic that, when combined with those combos, takes his burst to a completely different level. This is something something only true die-hard Gangplank mains abuse. You've probably seen Gangplanks place a barrel and immediately auto it. Most players think that's just to get it closer to detonating for a combo, and yes, that is part of it. But that's all they want you to think, because the real reason is disgusting. Gangplank can actually store that damage from Sheen inside his barrels, and here's how it works. The moment you have Sheen or Trinity Force, placing a barrel procs it, giving your next auto bonus damage. But for some reason, if you auto the barrel, that bonus damage gets consumed and stored inside it. You can see this here, where the damage from the barrel on the left has been autoed once with Sheen before detonating, compared to the one on the right, which was just autoed a single time once Sheen wore off. And this is where the crazy burst comes in, as what you can do in lane is place a barrel, auto it once to load the Sheen, proc, then wait for Sheen to come back up, cue the enemy, and then detonate your barrel with an auto. That's back-to-back Sheen procs in one instant. Playing Nunu into a champion with spell shields is a complete nightmare. We all know this, as without the damage and knockup from your snowball, you're about as useful as a chocolate teapot. But Nunu mains know a frosty little secret that lets their snowball completely ignore spell shields. And here's how you do it. Roll your snowball as usual, but just as you're about to collide with the target, tap your W to let go of the snowball, and then spam your E. This will cost the first instance of your E damage to remove the spell shield while your snowball hits every time. Volibear can also take advantage of this in the same way, where if you want the stun from your Q, but know the target has a spell shield, just before you get to them, you can use your W to remove the spell shield, saving your Q auto to stun right after. And the same goes for Twisted Fate. If you need to land a clutch gold card but know the target has a spell shield, you can throw the card, and then just before it hits, press your R, as the activation effect will break all spell shields. While not really a mechanic though, something else you can do with Twisted Fate is abuse his passive. Usually whenever TF kills an enemy, he gets a random amount of gold between 1 and 6, but this passive can actually crit. So a combination of a coal for the extra gold plus high crit chance obtained through rushing early cloaks means you are going to be printing money, especially as Twisted Fate is one of the only champions in the game that for some reason gets bonus gold off everything he kills. That's things like Malzahar minions, all the small Krugs, even the swarm of ads on Void Grubs. But while definitely not the best build and 100% not something you should try out in your rank game the next time they lock Mouse, but nonetheless a fun little interaction that we figured worth mentioning here. And if you do for whatever reason want to try it out, this guy here has a full guide on the build that we are going to leave a link to in the description below. Anyway, countless Illaoi players throw away free kills every game because they don't know this one secret. We've all been there. You land the E, beat down on it, but they run away on barely any HP, and you're just praying a tentacle decides to slap them into the afterlife. But the reality hits, and you remember those tentacle slams are so slow and telegraphed that even an iron player could dodge them blindfolded. Here's the tech Illaoi One Tricks abuse. Her ultimate makes all tentacles in a huge radius slam way faster, and yes, that includes the ones spawning, which means if they're getting away, just press R from range, buff the tentacles spawning from your E, and they'll insta-slap the enemy without them even being able to react. And if you enjoy tips like these, you are going to love our Master in Minutes Champion courses. They are packed with quick tricks, combos, and mechanics barely anybody knows about. Pair that with our world-class courses teaching you the fundamentals you need to climb for every single role, and you have got the exact roadmap you need to hit your dream rank this season. And we are so confident in this that we back it all up with a rank up guarantee, which means you climb at least 5 divisions while actively using skill cap, or you get every penny back, no questions asked. So what are you waiting for? Click the link in the description below to get a one-time exclusive discount you can use. But for now, that is going to do it for this one. We've got even more hidden interactions lined up for part 2, but we also want to hear from you. If you've got any hidden tech, weird interactions, or insane champion mechanics nobody talks about, drop them down in the comments below. We're going to feature our favorites in the next video. Thank you all so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.